Well, good day YouTube and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino beer review. Today you have the Rhino and we're looking at a beer. Today's beer is right here and it's called BFF. And I mean, you know, it has in English best friends forever, but best in friends is crossed out. And it says basilisk fraise forever. So strawberry and basil forever. Now, this is apparently a collaboration brew. It's a collaboration brew between Avant-garde and Microbrasserie de Four Origins. Quattro Origins? Well, cat oranges. Origins. Because Quattro would be Spanish. Cat would be the French. We are looking at 4.8% alcohol by volume. It says it's a kettle sour. This was purchased at Urban Cellars. I know I end up in Urban Cellars quite often. Oh, look, ingredients are in English and in French. Water, malted barley, malted wheat, oat flakes, wheat flakes, strawberry puree, hops, tea, basil, yeast, and lactic bacteria. So what, lactobacillus? Is that what you were using? And then orge malte, blé malte. What's that one? Oh, I can't even read that one. D'Avant, so it's flaked d'Avant. I can't. What is that one? That one is going to be wheat flakes, but I can't read. And I've never look. I did up to grade 11 French. I don't remember what flakes is in French. I've never had to use flakes as a word. But something de blé, I just can't make it out. And this is the worst part of this whole thing, right? Is that most of this stuff I can't actually read with the black on blue. Especially with the light ring shining at my face. But at the same time, I kind of know what it's going to say. Like the next one, I can't really see it, but I know it's fraise, so it's purée de fraise. Then we'd have houblon for hops, thé for tea, basilic for basil, lavore, bacteria lacture. I don't know what flakes is though. I can't remember. And you'd be like, well, you're in Canada, can't you look at like a cornflakes box and see what it's like? I don't buy cornflakes anymore. I don't even buy Frosted Flakes because I have a problem with Frosted. So I stay away from the Frosted Flakes, okay? So I'm going to assume this is going to be either a very slight hint of pink or it's going to be yellow with a slight hint of pink in the head because the strawberry puree won't add a huge amount of color. But it should add something. And I guessed wrong. There is no hint of pink in the head. And really, the head is where I would have expected it. I like strawberries never cut strawberries. It also matters where the strawberries come from. Now, I've always been told by some of my farmer friends, if you buy strawberries that are Canadian and you cut into them, they'll give off a more reddish / pink juice because the strawberry will be entirely red. But if you buy a strawberry from Mexico and you cut into it, the strawberry's innards are going to be more white and you'll get that really light pink hue. So I guess it depends where the strawberry was from. However, I will give it that is a very hazy, crazy beer. And I mean, with all the fucking flaked oats and flaked wheat and malted wheat and malted barley, I kind of would expect that. I mean, maybe that's what takes away the color. And Avant-garde makes some interesting beers. It's been a long time since I've had an Avant-garde beer too, but they usually do a more Belgian style brew. So I mean, that thickness, those type of ingredients make sense. I've never had anything from Four Origins, so I don't know what to expect from this. I like, and when I picked this up, before I even read it, I was like, is this strawberries and lime? Because I didn't know that was supposed to be a basil. But yeah, I like it though. I like the look of it. I like a lot about it. What do we got going on up here? We have a fleur de livre, a hop flower, looks like a clover, and a rose. So are we saying that we're like, I don't know what we're trying to say with that, but that's obviously, that's their logo. So are they trying to say like somebody's Irish, somebody's French, the rose, maybe somebody English? I don't know. I guess it's time to give her some sniffy sniff, eh? Sniffy sniff, sniff, sniff. Ready? Okay, out of the glass, I wouldn't say I smell basil or strawberry. I get sour, I do. Kind of smells like a goza to me, but maybe like a lemon lime goza. Like it almost comes off with a little bit of weediness, a little bit of saltiness, and then citrus out of the glass. Out of the can? Oh, there we go. There's the basil. Little fresh, aromatic, little tiny bit of spiciness right at the back of the nostrils. It smells good. Still really nothing strawberry-esque, but I mean, that makes sense. You're using fresh, real strawberries. As much as I want to smell it, and when I get a strawberry beer and I don't smell it, I get angry, that makes sense. It does. Sometimes you have to get through your own head where you're like, I'm expecting this, and you don't get it, and then you're like, motherfucker. You gotta realize that some beers will not ever taste like that. Doesn't matter what you do, it won't taste like that. And it won't taste like that because of what it's made with. Like it doesn't work that way. And that's 100% okay. Cheers. Okay. Off the first sip, I go back to what I said with my scent. That tastes like a Goza or a Berliner Weiss. I think more a Berliner Weiss because it has a little bit more of a really tart kick. I find Gozas are tart, but they're just, it's like, that's tart. Where a Berliner Weiss, usually for me, if I get one, especially without Woodruff syrup or anything being used on it, it's like, ooh, that's a sour meatball, right? Like, easy drinking, goes down well. A little bit of play at the back of the tongue. I wouldn't say I taste basil per se, but I do taste a little bit of sour and a little bit of sweet strawberry. I wouldn't say I taste basil. That's perfectly okay though. The basil could be being hidden by the sour notes. I like this. It's 4.8% alcohol, so it's for me it's at that perfect ABV. Hovering around 5, but under 5. That's my perfect ABV for me now that I'm getting older. When I was younger, and my liver and everything else worked at full capacity, and I wouldn't wake up with hangovers or anything like that, 6 or 7 was probably my perfect ABV. Because you could have like 8 or 9 beers in a night. I'm not talking drinking 8 or 9 beers in an hour, but you're out for 3 hours with your friends and you have like 3 beers an hour for those 3 hours. well, you get to 9, and you're a little tipsy, but you haven't passed into that obnoxious stage yet. And then you can go home, you can go to sleep, get your dick up if you had to, and wake up the next day and not have a hangover. If I was to do 7% alcohol beers now, yeah, I still have a good alcohol tolerance. But if I was to do 7% alcohol beers in a 2 or 3 hours period, I'd wake up with a hangover. I would. I'm getting older. I turned 43 this year, so I get it. But I think for me now, you go into that 4.5 to 5 range, and you're back at where I'm back at where my body can process at the same speed as it used to. And so I really like that it's at that percentage. I really like that it's a little lighter. It crosses your palate. It doesn't leave an overwhelming flavor. I really like that. Yes, it's a little pungent on the sour. Like the sour is its strongest feature, but you still get some of that strawberry. You still get this bready biscuitiness that's mixed underneath it, which is why it's such a Moorish beer, because the sour does punch you. It does, but it's like if my wife was to punch me, not like if Brock Lesnar was to punch me or anything like that, or even a normal human male. This is my wife came up to me mad at me and she punched me. And you felt it. You felt it, but you were like, okay, whatever. Oh, I still got hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those type of things. It's there. The sour is the strongest part of this beer, but everything else comes out from around that strength and just flourishes. With that big gulp, did get a little bit basil playing right here, right in the middle. But I didn't get basil on any of the small sips. So, like, I know there's basil there now, and I know there's basil from this. Let's see if I. Yeah, if I'm just sipping it, I'm not getting any basil at all. I need to saturate my taste buds with it. That's a really good beer, though. It's really refreshing. It clears off your palate rather quickly. Like, I don't taste any of it anymore. But when I drink it, it's very flavorful. And that sour neutralizes the taste buds rather quickly as well. My dryer just turned off. If you don't buy a Samsung, it came with the house. I like that though. That's a solid beer. It's a solid beer. I don't think I would rush out to buy another can of it, but I would buy another can of it. I like that beer. Ooh, I gotta nail that guy down again. Um, so I admit I will buy another one, and I might buy another one the next time I go into Urban Cellars. I have another week before I get my stipend again. My wife gives me a stipend. I get a stipend for my alcohol. And then I have to decide, am I buying stuff to review or am I buying stuff to drink? I'm at the point where, as much as I enjoyed this, I don't want to be away from my wife or family as much. So I find myself more buying like President's Choice, like the cheapest beer I can get that I enjoy in this province, more so than I buy review beers. But that's okay. I still have 33 beers to review, so we're doing okay. I mean, that's 10 days worth of reviewing, but 11 days worth of reviewing. That being said, at this point I'm reviewing like once a week, so that could be a while worth of reviews. And I do have 2 beer mails to still send out. I was waiting for the temperature to go back up because I wasn't mailing them out at the -50 weather we were having. They would have all died on transit. So my next stipend for alcohol might go to sending out one of my 2 packages. That is so good. So refreshing. That is such a good collaboration brew. I don't know who came up with the idea. I don't know who went, hey. Well, one of the two went to them and said, hey, let's collaborate. They said, okay, what should we make? And they said, maybe a sour. What type of sour? I don't know, a strawberry sour? What about a strawberry sour with basil? Okay, let's try that. Whoever did it, they made a good beer. What's that say? Oh, independent craft brewery. And soon enough, this beer will get a lot more expensive because that's a Crown. Crown Canning is buying American cans. Out of 10, still give it an 8.25. I really do like this beer. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Au revoir. A bientôt. See you soon. Bye-bye. You notice that I say au revoir in my usual, like, fuck with the French. To anybody from Quebec that doesn't know me, I do purposely mispronounce things. I do. And when I was reading that stuff, I do apologize. That was me really trying to see it. I am legally blind for anyone new to the channel. So these cans are never easy for me to read. But I have people calling me out that I don't read the cans. That I used to give the cans to people to read for me. But I kind of miss having people at the table with me. Anyway, back to my shit here. So 8.25, I think, is a good mark for this. And thank you guys. Bye. I want to start reviewing on my GoPro so that I can use the remote to turn it on and off. But I don't want to have to download it off the GoPro into the fucking GoPro's stupid app, and then from there download it to my. It fills your phone up so much you can't do anything with it because the videos are so. It's fuck this shit. I gotta get up. I don't want to get up. The camera's so far away. This is another reason I need a second person. Bye, guys. Oh.